Check it out. You hear that? You sound like shit. What we got going on today?
Well, front end stuff, part like 17 on my van. Fortunately, you as the viewer didn't have to watch the other 17 parts of this. But I had to do them all. Most recently, I put a new drag link in here, new ball joints. The ball joints so far have been great, but the drag link, I put in a Motorcraft drag link after having a full Moog front end for about 2 years. My Moog lower ball joints failed and my drag link failed. So I was like, you know what, let's try Motorcraft. Maybe Ford knows how to make it better. Certainly not, no surprise there. Ford steering parts are garbage. Steering parts. Now, I had this drag link in here since about April 27th. It's now end of July, so you do the math. That's like 2 months, and I only have about 7,000 miles on it. So within 7,000 miles, my drag link failed completely. So I've tried Moog drag links, I've tried Motorcraft drag links, and then the company I use for my ball joints, which is Menvotech, doesn't make any drag links. So I thought I was up a creek for a minute, but lo and behold, I found yet another brand that supposedly makes extra heavy duty steering components. XRF here is what they're called. Supposedly they have a 1,000,000-mile warranty. Seems like in forums, it's hotly debated whether or not it's worth it, in the sense that like they will continue to send you new parts, but if your parts fail a bunch of times, is it really worth having them in your car? I don't know. So there's enough good reviews for these that I think they're worth a try, because I can't actually find that many off-road high performance parts for this particular vehicle. Unfortunately, really no one makes them. So thank you XRF for actually making something. So we're gonna go ahead and slap a whole new steering front end series of parts, drag link, tie rod ends, all that good stuff, and then we'll see if they stand the test of time or not. Moog tie rod ends and Moog tie rod have actually held up this whole time, lift kit and everything. And then my Moog upper ball joints also survived the test of time, but just not my Moog drag link or Moog lower ball joints. Kind of weird. I'm gonna take my tie rod and drag link off whole, so I'm gonna separate the tie rod from the drag link, and then I'm gonna lay out my new parts right alongside each of these, so I make sure I get the same lengths going back on, because right now I'm not about to realign it where I currently am. That was easy. All right, that's one way. Ding bong. Here we go. Ah! It's probably not great to hammer on the end of your steering box, but what's the camera doing to you now? Assemble Ford independent front suspension steering components for no particular reason. The drag link has a larger thread than the tie rod on your other side. So just make sure you get that sorted, because even though the couplers look exactly the same, they're not. This one's bigger, that one's smaller. Bigger one is bigger clamps. Ooh, smaller one is smaller clamps. Smaller tie rod thread goes with this side, and these basically work like turnbuckles. I like to get each side started a bit, but then you ultimately just turn the center portion, which conveniently has nothing to turn it with. I usually use vice grips or a channel lock set, when they could have just put a hex on there so you could use a normal wrench. And it basically pulls both in or moves both away from each other together. Thread's actually bigger than on this one, so this goes with your drag link and matches up there. Don't worry, it might work eventually. There we go. All right, so right now we're way too long. That's pretty obvious. I have a feeling my alignment's gonna be so dialed after this. Unlike your front tie rod, which makes fucking sense. This is a bit harder to line up. I'm going center of grease fitting, center of grease fitting. It's looking pretty spot on Donnie right now. I think right there is about good. What the? All right, because these ones just fucking free spin. Why aren't they captive? Maybe this is a dumb undertaking. Maybe my alignment is just going to be horrible after this. Guys, I'm feeling pretty content with this. I start off with the drag link because it's kind of the bigger thing that the other thing attaches to. If you're gonna put your thing on your thing, you want to start with the thing, you know what I'm saying? It's a touch twisted. And you don't have to go like stupid tight on these. I'm sure there's actually a torque spec for them, but you know, it gets tight and then I go just a little bit more so that I can get the pin through the end of it, and I've never had much of a problem with that. All right, once you have your new crap on your car, definitely remember to grease it, because when you don't, it goes bad almost immediately. Ask me how I know. So my one theory is that people who complain about XRF components breaking all the time just don't grease them, which is a pretty good theory as well. Bit of blood, sweat, and a lot of swearing. It's now in there. The main highlight that was a huge flop in my process was that I thought I could line up my new parts to my old well-aligned parts, and that would somehow correspond to keeping the alignment intact, and not a snowball's chance in hell did that come out right. So once I actually put the new parts on, my toe was horribly towed in. So I spent probably another 30 to 45 minutes doing a quick tape measure alignment. Again, I can't actually get it aligned here because I'm not even in Denver right now. Hit it with a tape measure, it'll be good enough. Hopefully I don't get horrible tire wear the whole way back. Aside from that, I think it have high hopes of it working well. We'll see. I plan on filming an update. If I break it within, 10,000 miles, I'll definitely film an update. But it says million mile, so I have high expectations. We'll see if it lives up to it or not. The part quality is pretty nice the whole way around. Came painted black, which is decent. All the grease fittings were decent. All the grease boots were decent. So now it's really just seeing if it stands the test of time or not. But at least from appearances, it looks nice. Thanks for watching on another episode of Oliver Breaks the Front End is Van. Next time I do it, you might see it or you might not, because it happens so often. But at least we'll see if XRF works or not. Appreciate it. Have a nice day out there.